if you have other outside money hitting that bank account, you're going to have to pay attention and reconcile, which legally you need to monthly. So that way, if you ever get audited by TREC, if you're a realtor, broker, you need to know about TREC and they can audit you. And if you're not reconciling your bank accounts every month, you will get in trouble. We got 3 things going on today. I got the wife with me. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Number 1, we're going to drop off introduction letters. We're here to help collect rent and make the community better. And then number 2, I need to go make sure a lockbox is set up on another massive project we got going on, a 97 unit in East Knoxville. Then number 3, we're going to go to KCDC to get a Section 8 voucher set up on another property that we've onboarded a couple months ago, because if we could get those units filled up faster with accepting vouchers, it's more money in everyone's pocket and we're helping with affordable housing in the community, and it's a win-win. So let's get on the road and see what happens. Are you a licensed principal broker if you don't get Starbucks? I have a mobile order for Melanie and I need to add a cup of ice. That's the golden stuff there, boy. All right, we'll see you at the next property. This is where we're gonna drop the letters off, introducing ourselves to new tenants. So pretty standard. We introduce ourselves, hey, we're Stonebrook, new management. Stonebrook Property is your new property management, effective immediately. Rent payments, all rent payments must be made to Stonebrook. Contact information for any inquiries or concerns, please call us at our number. This is the only way to get in contact with us. Your current lease remains valid and enforced, including all terms such as late fees, utility payments, and other tenant requirements. A lot of people think that when there's a new owner that everything can get thrown out the window. Someone can't just sell the house you're renting and then kick you out. Your lease is valid until the effective end date. And if you're on a month-to-month, you as a tenant actually might want to reach out and get on a 12-month lease, because that flexibility goes both ways. Your flexibility to leave the lease in 30 days is the same flexibility the landlord can bump you out and tell you to leave town because they want to move back in, let's say. So 30-day leases to me are kind of risky for both sides, because when you're trying to own real estate and have it be passive as possible, even though you got to hire a guy like me to make that possible, 12-month leases allow your customer and the business, the landlord, to kind of have a projected sale and service provided for 12 months. So if you look at it a little differently, that's kind of how I look at it. If you're living month to month, you're pretty much running an Airbnb. And if you're a landlord and you're running an Airbnb, you better be getting more money than what long-term rentals are getting. So why are you exposing yourself to those types of risks? Bottom line, 12-month leases are the best. You should do that unless you own a vacation cabin or you're trying to run an Airbnb in Knoxville, because it's not worth the exposure for your long-term rent to be only possible for 30 days at a time. So easy peasy, letters are dropped off. And honestly, at this point, I would say 85 to 90% of people will call in, do what we ask on the letter, because we make it really simple for next steps. Difficult tenants, the trick is we drop off an abandonment letter next month. And what that legally allows you to do is, if no one reaches out and the property looks as though it's vacant, you can go in and take possession without having to go to court. The point is not to try to go get possession. You're hoping that someone actually lives there, because you have a rent roll from the old owner saying someone lives there, they're paying rent, this is their amount, and you're trying to go get that, because day one of taking on a new property, whether you're a landlord or a property manager, you're not trying to have delinquency or vacancy. And so the abandonment letter gets people to say, oh gosh, they're gonna come in here and start renovating the place or turning over the unit if I don't call. And it gets the difficult tenants to call in, because it's not a bluff, but it certainly gets them more apt to call in, and it doesn't piss them off as much If you're bluffing that you're going to evict them and you want to just get in contact with them, yeah, you better hold your ground when you actually do need to file that eviction, because tenants will see right through your weakness if you don't do what you say you're going to do. So, on to the next thing today. We're on the east side right now in Knoxville, and then this 97 unit on both sides of the road here, we just took this on like 3 days ago, and I'm going to make sure that we have our vacant unit that we're showing it, that it's ready to go and looks good, and the lockbox is there. I know the lockbox is there. I need to put the key in it. We don't have access right now to the unit because I think either the landlord took the keys home. I had one key. I went and put it back in the leasing office. So we'll just get it rekeyed and we will do the showing tomorrow as planned. All right, next stop is KCDC because it's 1 o'clock and they're off lunch, so I can go to their office. I gotta look up the paperwork to see what the address is, and then we'll all be done with all my chores. All right, I can't show you the documents because it has my EIN and my banking account information, but basically you have the new landlord registration form, and then you have a W-9 that you turn in, and then a housing assistance payment document, an owner's obligation and responsibilities form, a vendor file information, and then I have our management agreement to show that we have the right to even do this. You have to either show that you own the property or you have a management agreement in place, a state issued ID, and then a bank account verification, which is a voided check, which is in here. So, all right, we just got approved through KCDC, so we are now set up permanently as a, landlord property manager in their system, and the system's called Rent Cafe. We'll log in there every time that they pay us monthly. No matter how many units we have through KCDC, it'll be one big ACH wire. And so for us to do the bookkeeping on that, when it hits our operating account, because internally we have an escrow trust account for all rent coming in for all landlords. So all of our landlord money hits one bank account, and we hit the chart of accounts inside of our management software, and we can keep track of lease ledgers there. However, if you have other outside money hitting that bank account, you're going to have to pay attention and reconcile, which legally you need to monthly. So that way, if you ever get audited by TREC, if you're a realtor, broker, you need to know about TREC and they can audit you. And if you're not reconciling your bank accounts every month, you will get in trouble. So their money is going to hit our account. We can then reconcile it by going to Rent Cafe, looking at all the rent that was paid per unit, and then we will go back into our Buildium, which is our property management software, and record it manually on each tenant that their rent was paid, and then that will reconcile between our physical bank accounts at Pinnacle, our property management software at Buildium, and then KCDC's lease ledger through Rent Cafe. So it gets complicated, but if you have the proper systems and procedures set up to implement new things like this, it's very easy to click in and keep rolling. And so for a review, we went and dropped off new introduction letters at the 24 unit. We went and tried to get into the 97 unit and make sure that unit's clean. However, I walked it a couple days ago. It was pretty good then, but we need to get it rekeyed because the key has been lost, whether it be all the contractor GCs that have walked it in the past couple days for the landlord or the landlord himself. Not sure. He's probably watching this video, so not trying to blame you, buddy. But we don't have the keys, so we're getting that rekeyed before tomorrow, because tomorrow's our first showing out there. And then we ended the day at KCDC right here, and now we're going to go home and work in the office, and rent's due.